Greetings, welcome to this live stream. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. If you have seen any of my previous videos, forget about them. I'm going to start with this one, with an application from the start. Why? Because we did a lot of changes to the platform in the past few weeks. So that is why we didn't post any other live stream except for this one today. So I think it is better for me to start the application from scratch right here. So you can mark this video as the start of the tutorial on how to do an application from start to finish in Apphive. I'm going to do a very simple application using Stripe because a lot of people use Stripe to do the payments. So I'm going to start with an application that is a little bit more less complicated than, for example, Uber or something like that. So I'm going to be using Stripe to pay for some products, but I'm not going to do subscriptions, or I'm not going to do mapping track on the beginning. So the scope of the application is really, really small. So we are going to have a login, and after that we are going to have a menu in which you can create products, and each product has a price in US dollars. I'm going to be using only US dollars, and you can enter another section in the application in which you can pay for a fixed amount of products that you can select from the list. Okay, so everything is going to be done in only one application. I'm not going to distribute in administrator or anything like that. So if you watch from here the tutorials that I am going to be making, you are going to be able to know how to use Apphive to create an application with Stripe. Okay, from the beginning. So let's get started. I have prepared something to show you exactly how to do it. The first thing is that I can show you the previewer in my iPad alongside my editor in my computer. When you are developing applications in Apphive, you always use your browser in your computer, in your desktop computer, or in your laptop to edit the application. In this case, is the coding part of the development process. And the other one is in your Android phone or your iPhone. You can have the previewer. The previewer is an application that we developed that you can download in your phone, and you can use that to preview what you are building. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Give me a moment because I need to hide some stuff. There you go. Okay, let's put here share my screen, and let's share this one. Okay, give me a moment. I'm going to see that everything is correct. There you go. We have the first page right here. When you enter editor apphive.io, you're going to be greeted with this page if you are already logged in. If you didn't log in, you are going to see something like this one. Okay, you put your credentials. You can use Google. You can use Apple. You can use your email directly, but you have to log in if you didn't already. This one is what we call the homepage. In the homepage is a list of your projects. You are not going to see any of this because you won't have any project. Remember, this is the list of your projects. Let's create a new one, and let's put here the name of the project. The first option I'm going to close this one and do that again. We are going to ignore this option for now. It's not important. We are going to go with a black template. Okay, in this black template we are going to put the name of our project. In this case is going to be Simple Store. Okay, we are going to be selling, I don't know, shoes, maybe something that you can sell in units. The name of the application is going to be main because we are going to have only one application for this first example. In better examples that we are going to build after this tutorial, we are going to have more than one application in our project, right? So let's create the project. And while we wait for Apphive to create the project, I'm going to be opening my QuickTime, sorry. I didn't remember the name of the application, and I'm going to try to show you my iPad from here. There you go. And you can see here, this is the previewer that I was talking about. In this one, you can see the preview of your application that we are building right here. After the project is created, you are going to be greeted with this page. This is an empty application. That is what this part right here is saying. If you click on it, you can add an empty screen. Sorry, this screen that has this star right here is the first one that you are going to be seeing in your application when it starts. So let's try that. Let's log in here. Remember, it's very important that you use the same user that you use in your browser to enter the previewer in order for you to see the same projects. Okay, let's enter right there, and here let's search for the application that we are building. Simple store right here. Let's enter here, and there you go. You can see this screen right here, which is exactly the same that we are watching right here. If we change something in the page, for example, I'm going to go to the data section right here and click in any other color like this one, and I return to the previewer. You can see that a screen is shown that says Apphive requires a restart. That means changes were detected in the application, and you need to restart the application to watch the changes. So if I click restart right here, I can see the color is now changed to the new one that I put in the application, right? So the first thing that I am going to be doing is the login part of the application. In Apphive, you can check out the login state in any application by using functions. For example, I just drag and drop a button right here, and I'm going to put here an onPress event. Yeah, every time a user press this button, this one is going to be executed. And the only function that I'm going to be putting is a debug log. A debug log is a function that only executes in development. In other words, when you are previewing your application before you compile, and it's going to be ignored in production, right? I opened my console. My console is open by pressing the F12 button in your keyboard. We need this console right here because Apphive uses the same console that the browser uses to debug the application. If I go here to this section, which is called debug, that is why it has a bug there, debug. And I'm going to the logs section. Every time this function is called, a new record is put right here, and the value of that record depends on what I pass right here. So for example, I'm going to pass a variable that I have here. You have a lot of sections, just ignore for the moment, and let's focus on this one and click on the current user ID. Okay, so when I press the button, this function is going to be executed and I should see a record right here. So let's try it out. Let's restart the application and let's click in the button. And after I click in the button, indeed, I can see here a new record that is shown right here. And I can press the show button to print the value that the debug log captures in my console. That is going to be very useful later. Okay. So for now, I can see that the current user ID is undefined. That means I don't have any user logged in my application, right? And that actually makes sense, right? Because this application is new. I didn't have any logic to log in with any user. So we can check by giving the user ID here if the user is logged in or not, but Apphive provides you with a function that actually does this. I'm going to remove the debug log, and I'm going to put here is log in. You can search for functions right here. In this case, I'm going to put this is logged in function. This function has no input values. That's why we didn't, the editor don't show you anything there, but it shows you two callbacks. The first one is user is logged in, and the other one is user is not logged in. There are explaining. So let's put only a debug log here and put here a yes. And let's copy this debug log and paste it inside the is not logged in. And instead of yes, let's print no, right? Let's remove the logs that we already have by pressing this X button right here. So everything is clean and I can start from the beginning. Let's go to the previewer and let's press the restart button and click in the button, right? So press the button. I say click, but we are not in a browser or in a computer. We are in an iPad, so we have to press, not click. So if I press the button, you can see the word no is printed. That is because we have this word right here. So now we have the building blocks to create a flow in which the user has to log in, right? So this page right here, which is the first one, is going to be called, to rename the page. You can click on this one, which is the name of the page, and let's put here a splash. Yeah, this page is going to be the first one in our application, remember that. And let's remove the button because I don't want the user to click on the application for it to check if the user is logged in, right? I need the function that checks if the user is logged in to run as soon as this page is mounted. To do that, I have to add an event here with the page selected, which is called onload. This event is going to be called as soon as the page is mounted, right? So here, let's re-add the function is logged in. And remember, this function has two callbacks, so I have two branches on this UI. The first one is the case that I have right now, which is the user is not logged in, right? So when the user is not logged in, I want to prompt the user to log. So let's add a new page right here. And this page, I'm going to change the background because I don't like the background to be this strong. And here, let's change the name of this. And let's put welcome. So this page is the one that is going to be shown to any user that is not logged in, right? So here, if I return to the splash screen and I go to the user is not logged in, let's add a function that is called replace top page. This function right here removes this page, in this case, the splash page, and replace it with the one that I select right here. In this case, I'm going to be selecting welcome. Right? So the splash screen is not there anymore, and the one that I am going to be showing is this one, which is the welcome one. To differentiate it from the splash, because they have the same color, I'm going to be adding to the splash an animation that shown that I am loading. Okay. So in order to do that, let's add an image. Let's resize it a little bit. And here in this image, Apphive supports Lottie. So let's add a Lottie. And in order to do that, let's go to this website, which is called Lottie Files. And let's search for something right here, right? The bouncing balloon. Okay, dog. Let's search for a dog because I like dogs. Okay, maybe which one looks good? Maybe this one. Let's try it with this one. So I can download this file, adding it to my workspace in Lottie Files. Okay, after it is added, I can download it as a JSON. Let's do that. And after it's downloaded, I can go right here, double click, upload file, and let's select the animation that I downloaded. Apphive already detects is a Lottie file, so let's select that. Okay, and now I can differentiate my splash screen from my welcome page. Let's go back here and let's restart. And there you go. You can see the animation is not even shown. The reason is because the function that checks if the user is not logged in or is logged in is actually super quick. So it runs exactly as quickly as you can see it. So the animation is never shown. How we are going to fix it? For now, we are going to add a delay here in the load part of this splash screen, so the user has a chance to see your cute dog, right? So let's add that. Here we can find a function that is timeout. Set timeout, there you go. And here we can put a delay in seconds. Let's put 2 seconds. to see how it looks. And here in the undone function, let's drag and drop this function that we already create, which is the is logged in function, and let's put it here in the undone. So we achieve something very different that we had in the beginning. Sorry, I didn't know how to say it, but with that we achieved in the following. The splash screen is going to be shown for 2 seconds without doing anything, and after that we are going to check if the user is logged in. If the user is not logged in, let's go to the welcome page. Let's try it out. Let's restart right here. There you go. That's our dog. 2 seconds, and after 2 seconds this page is shown. Okay, now when we show this page, we didn't say anything to the user. We have to tell the user something, right? In order to do that, first, let's make it obvious that we are transitioning from one page to another. And how we do that? Let's use a transition. We have different types of transitions right here. So let's use, for this application in particular, all of the new pages are going to be sliding left, right, I think is the correct one. And the transition speed is going to be regular. Let's see how that looks. Let's restart. There is our dog. 1 second. And after that, we slide the new page. I didn't like how it looks. Let's try it out again. Yeah, I didn't like it because this one fade in. Let's try a fade in animation. Okay, it didn't show. I don't know why. Let's put this in slow. I think the reason is because the Lottie animation is not shown while the animation is it's taking place. So let's try to check if that's the case by changing the color of the target page. There you go. That's the problem. The problem is that the animation is not shown after is not shown while the animation is taking place. That's actually a bug. I'm going to report it later. But for now, let's remove the animation. I was hoping the animation will work, but it's not working. So let's remove this one and let's add it again. Replace top page, but in this case, let's not put any animation there, right? After that, in this page, we have to tell the user why he is in this page, right? In order to do that, let's add a new container to distribute some parts of the application. This one is going to contain the title. The title is going to have a height that is proportional to the height of the page, and is going to be 20%. I think it's reasonable. Let's copy this by pressing Command C, Command UV to paste it 2 times. So we have 3 containers. The one in the middle is going to be a little bit more taller. In this case, is going to have 50%. So we have 20, which is 40, and 50, which is 90 in total, right? And let's change the distribution, so each part of this application is a little bit more distributed in the application. In order for us to appreciate that, let's change the color of each container. There you go. And with this container selected, let's change these ones to maybe like that or like that. Space evenly, I think, is the correct one. There you go. Now we have a separation between each one of the containers. Okay. Now I'm going to keep the colors only to indicate what is happening, but it's going to be a little bit more subtle. Maybe. Okay, that's the only one that I have. Maybe if I put something like this with the primary color. And we have these 3 sections, right? I can change the color of the complete application, but let's do that again. What happened there? I don't know. If I go to the style section, something happened. Okay, let's try it again because it shouldn't happen like that. Okay, let's go to the style part. Okay, nothing happened this time. That's weird. Now I can select a new color from my to put in my application. Maybe that one looks good for now. And let's put here a text that says something to the user. In this case, I'm going to be putting here welcome. all in uppercase, and I'm going to center it, and I'm going to be putting this in bold and a little bit bigger, maybe 15. Okay, 15 looks right. And the height, I'm going to have the height auto, so it is exactly as the size of the font. If I go back here and I restart, you can see 2 seconds of my dog, and then after here I have the welcome. And let's copy this text right here and paste it back here and double click on it to type something else. And here, you do not have an account in this device. Please enter using your Google account. We are going to be selling dog gear, okay? Dog's gear, for example. How do you call the rope that you use to walk your dog in English? I don't know how to call that. Muscles, food, something like that, right? Google account. There you go. If I go back here and I restart, I'm going to lower this to 1 second. You do not have an account in this device. Please enter using your Google account. Okay. And let's change the alignment of this text to justify. There you go. And let's put an action right here. And this action is going to be here, use Google account. Okay. Remember, when my design file philosophy for this application is going to be, this one is the title. Here we have the information for the context that we are building, and here at the bottom we have the actions, right? I'm going to copy this page, and I'm going to call this one base. This one is not going to be shown, but I want that one to be copied in each one of our cases. Here we have the welcome one. You don't have an account, and here I want the user to log in, right? So let's add a new function when we press the button. This function, I'm going to be searching for Google. There you go, logging with Google. And when we are logging with Google, I want to change the appearance of this page, or sorry, when the user logs in his account or their account, you have to go back to the splash screen. Why? Because I want to check in the splash screen if the user is already logged in, right? So let's try and do that. Successful login with Google. Here, replace top page, and here let's go back to the splash screen. Let's try it out. Go back here, restart. There is our dog. There is our welcome page. Use a Google account. Continue. Let's select our account. There you go. I already logged in, and I go back to my splash screen, right? After that, now I can see here that my splash screens detect that my user is logged in. How do I know that? Let's add a debug here, a debug log, and let's print the user ID. Okay, let's try it out. Let's go here to our log sections. Let's remove all of previous logs. Let's go back here, restart the application. Our dog is right there. Nothing happens. That means that the application detects that the user is already logged in. And we can see here the user ID that is logged in. When the user is logged in, I want to go to another page that is not this one, in which I'm going to be showing the user the home part of the application, in which it will have a menu with the options that are available to do in this application, right? So let's create a new page. Let's rename this one to home. There you go. And here we are going to have some changes. For example, I want the user to have a profile picture, right? And the name of the user that is logged in right here. So in order to do that, I could use the ones from Firebase that I have in my entry bars, but I want the user to have a profile that is custom for our application. So I'm going to start to be using my database, right? If I go here to my cloud database, I can go right here and add a collection. The first collection that I'm going to be adding is going to be called public profile data. Okay, this collection right here is going to contain the name, the username, and the profile picture of each user, right? So I'm going to be adding two fields right here. The first one is going to be display name, and the second one is going to be called profile picture URL, right? And here is going to be meant to be the user ID. So I have to load that information before I enter the home page, right? So I'm going to be adding a new page by copying this one. And let's put it before the home page. And let's change the name of this page to home loader. Why? Because in this one, I'm going to load all the information for the user. So let's remove the title. Sorry, no, don't remove it. Let's undo that. And here, let's double click on it and put here loading welcome. We are loading your data. There you go. Here, instead of putting text, let's add the dog here. Let's change the size. There you go. And here, instead of putting a button, let's copy the text right here and let's double click on it. Please wait. There you go. And here in the splash screen, instead of debugging or printing a debug log, let's add a replace top page. And this replace top page is going to go to home loader. Let's go back here and let's restart. There is our dog. And here, welcome. We are loading your data. Okay. So now that everything is like that, let's add here an onload event. And in this onload event, we are going to be loading the information of the user. In order to do that, let's use the function get database data. There you go. And here, let's open the browser. Let's select the public profile data, and let's add the ID of our user, right? Which is right here. This is the ID of the user. So I am going to be supposing, or how do you say it? I'm going to presuppose. I don't know how to say it. Give me a moment. I'm going to think about it. Okay, here I am going to pretend that the current user ID is always there. I know it is always there because the splash screen already told me that is there. So for now, let's take the user ID for granted, right? And here we are going to get the display name and the profile picture. Let's close that and go back here. And in the end callback, let's add a debug log. And let's log the information that is returned from the database. Let's go here to the debug section and again clear my console. Go back here and restart the application. There you go. That's your dog. Welcome. We are loading your data. And if I go back here, we can see that the data that we have is null because we didn't save any data for the user, right? Now, we have to take a decision what we are going to do when the user has no custom data. Okay, let's add a default one, right? So the default one is going to be, let's print here the user name. Firebase already tells us the username that it can get from the user in the depending on the type of account that it has. In this case, is Google. So Google is going to provide us with a username. So let's check it out. There you go. The dog there. And now, welcome. We are loading your data. And here we can see that the email, sorry, I selected the email. I meant to select the username. Let's try it again. Restart. There you go. Let's go back here. And you can see here, that's the name that the user put in the public profile that it has in Google, right? But it's possible that the user didn't put anything right there. So let's do something right here. When the data is empty, which is right here, let's put this one. I'm going to take the username from the Google account and the profile picture from the Google account. I'm going to check that both exist. If they do not exist, I'm going to put default values for both of them. I'm going to save that data in the database, and after that, I'm going to load that data and go to home. In the home page, I'm going to use both values to show in the page the information of this user, right? So the first one that I'm going to be trying, it's going right here. And let's add a code compute, because I'm going to be checking if both properties exist. So let's add here two values. The first one is name, Firebase name. And let's put here the value from this part of the entry bars, and let's add a new one, Firebase profile URL. And here, let's add the same from here, profile pic URL. There you go. We have both values. And here, let's access those values by doing something like this. The name matches the one that I put right here, these ones, and both of them are stored in a property that is called args, and in a variable, sorry, that is called args. And then I can return these ones. I'm going to return them in an object, both of them, so I can debug the function, right? Let's remove the debug log and let's add a new one. But this debug log function is going to be below the code compute. And let's print the value, return it from my code compute. And let's change the name of this function to load default values. Okay. So let's remove everything from my console. Let's go back to the application. Let's restart it. There is our dog. After that, the loading page. And here we can see the Firebase name and the Firebase profile URL, right? If I put the profile URL in a browser without the double quotes, you can see there the profile picture that Google provides, right? There is the possibility that these values are not there, depending on the type of account that you have in Google, that the type of account that your user that is logged in here has. So, for example, I'm going to use these ones, and I'm going to validate if they exist. If they do not exist, I'm going to put a default value right there. So, for example, in the case of the name, let's put here name is going to be equals to the Firebase name, and if the Firebase name does not exist or is a false value, for example, an empty string, let's add a default one, which is default username, unknown user, okay, unknown name, because we don't know the name of the user, right? And let's return that value and do something very similar for the profile URL. Const profile URL is going to be equal to this one, and if this one is a false value, let's add a profile picture, default profile picture. And here we are going to the image section, and here in tools, let's add the size is going to be icon. Let's go to usage rights, Creative Commons list licenses. Okay, so let's use for now this one. This one looks good. Let's open image in a new tab. There you go. Let's copy this URL. Let's put it right here in our code, right? Now let's return this profile URL here, and let's check it out. Let's restart the application. There you go, that's our dog. And after that, it loading page. And here you can see profile URL and the name. Now, if I go to the database, I can go here And here the display name is called display name and profile picture URL. Let's put the names that actually match with this one. So let's go here. Let's press F12, F2 in our keyboard, sorry, to rename the value, the variable, sorry. And let's call it display name. And the other one actually has to match the one from public profile data, right? So let's press F2 again and rename the variable. Now we have the two variables that I have to use. And now, instead of just the book logging the values, let's save them in the database. So let's put here save direct save database right here. And let's put this right here. And it asks me to have a path and a value. So in my code compute right here, instead of putting only the Firebase name and the profile URL, let's add another entry, user ID. And this one is going to come again from my entry bars. In this case, current user ID. Let's add here path. And this path is going to be the path to our Firebase database in which are going to be saving this information, right? Remember, the collection is called public profile data. So I'm going to be adding that here. It's this one, and then slash, and then the user ID. Remember, the user ID is one of the arguments that I pass to this function, which is right here. There you go. And both of these values, I'm going to be returning them in another property, which is called values. There you go. Instead of values, let's put value. So it matches the name of the entry bars from this database, right? Let's remove it so I can see what is returned from this code compute before saving it. So let's restart right here. There you go. That's our dog. Then, okay, property name doesn't exist. Let's check it out. It's called display name and it's called profile picture. Let's try it again. Refresh. There you go. And here you can see this one. There is the path profile data slash the ID of my user, and then the value, which is display name and profile picture. That's exactly what we wanted, right? The next step is that because we are going to be saving this to the database, before we do that, let's change the time. The splash screen is displayed to 1 second because it's a lot. 2 seconds is a lot. So here, let's add here, let's collapse this part right here. And instead of calling the debug log function, let's add a save direct database. There you go. The path that we are going to be using is the one returned from the default local values. The values path, which is this one, is a string. And the second is the value, right? So let's add here this one and put here value. Sorry, my cell phone is making a lot of noises. There you go. And with that, I can save in my database the information from the user. Let's remove the debug log for now and let's try that out, right? Okay, restart. There is our dog again, 1 second. Then after that, the loading page from the home. So if I go now to my database and select the public profile data and I click on view data, I can see there that it is saving my URL, my display name in the ID of the user that I logged in with. Okay, so I can remove this one. So it gives me again an empty data when I try the next time. And after I put the data right here, I have to go to the home page, right? If I go here to the home page, I have to add two properties here to the home page. The properties are going to be called display name, and the other one is going to be called profile picture URL, right? So these values are going to be used here in my header on my application to change the values so I can show the user that the user is the one that is logged in, right? So let's add an image first right here. Let's resize it a little bit less big, and here instead of putting everything aligned to be a column, let's align everything to be a row by going to the style tab, and there you go. And we have this one and this one. This one is going to be a little bit less white, something like that. Let's change the name of these properties. This one is going to be called user name, and this going is going to be called sorry, let's use the same names so I can match them. There you go. And this one is going to be called profile picture, right? And then when I enter this page, let's add an onload function, and let's add here a modify control. This modify control will take the value that I pass to page data, in this case the display name, and it's going to change the value from the display name text, which is right here. Let's put here to the scores to is it called a score because the other one is underscore? I don't know. And let's just change the property which is called text, right? And in the image, let's do something very similar. Let's add another modify control. And this modify control is going to take the value that I pass to the page, in this case profile picture URL, and let's add here the profile picture URL, and here the value is called data. Okay, and here in my loading page, after the save to database direct, let's add a replace top page, and in this case I'm going to go to the home page, and let's add the values from the display name and the profile picture URL, right? There you go. And the profile picture URL is going to be from here, value dot profile picture URL, right? Let's check it out. Let's restart this one. There is our dog. And after that, it goes to this page. But this page, which is the home, let's remove this part right here so I don't have anything like that. Let's restart the page again. There you go. Welcome. We are okay because it now has data in the database. It didn't pass to the home page. So let's remove the data that we save here and let's restart the application. There you go. That's our dog. There you go. And here I am. But nothing is put here nor here. Why? Let's go back here and we are replacing load default values, value.display name. Okay, it did put an space between the value. So that's not what we wanted, right? There you go. Let's restart. There it is. There it is. Oh, let's remove the information from the database once more. Let's go back here. Restart. There you go. There you go. And that's all we need to load the information in our page, right? Let's put some more format in these ones. For example, this one is going to be rounded. So let's go to the border radius and let's put here 100. There you go. And let's change this image to the profile one that we have here. So it has the source here, right? Let's put here from URL. Let's save that. There you go. Oh, sorry, it didn't select it. Ahí está. There you go. Sorry, I speak in Spanish because that's my original language, right? Okay, there you go. Nothing happens because we didn't program yet the part when the data is found in the database. So let's remove it again. Let's go back here and let's refresh the page. There you go. There you go. And that's all we have for now. All right. The next step is going to be, let's remove the call to action right here. It's not needed. And here, when the user already has the information in the database, instead of going to this part right here, it's going to call this one, data obtained. And let's put here a debug log, and let's log the information that comes from the database. Let's rename this value to something different. In this case, it's going to be get profile data. Okay. Instead of putting get, let's do the only profile data. So it makes a lot more sense to print it, right? Let's go back here, restart, splash screen, loading page. And in the loading page, we are going to have a log right here. And if I print everything from here, you can see it shouldn't print a path, right? Let's remove the information from here. So I make sure everything is working correctly. Let's go back here. Okay, there it is. And there you go. We have a display name and a profile picture URL. And instead of debugging that information, let's add our replace top page. And this replace top page is going to go to the home page, and let's add the values from the database, right? In this case is the display name, and the other one is the profile picture. There you go. Let's try it out. Restart. Splash screen, and we are in the home page. Okay. Now that's the first part. We already completed the login process, but we want to be able to log out, right? So where we are going to put that? Remember, our actions are here in the section below. So let's add that action right here. Log exit application, right? This button right here is going to log out of our account. So let's add an on-press button here and put on search here the logout function. And after the user is logged out, let's replace the top page and let's put here the splash screen. The splash screen already takes care of the process of checking if the user is logged in or not, right? So let's try it out. Okay, there you go. Exit the application. Welcome. You do not have an account on this device. On this device, please enter here, right? Here. There you go. So let's go back here, restart. There is our dog. Use Google account. Continue. Login with Google. There you go. Exit the application. Continue with Google. There you go. There you go. Welcome. And we have here our first page. Now we are going to load a list here that has the options that we can do in our application. Why I going to be loading them? Because I could just put the buttons right here, right? I could put a button right here to add a new product, to purchase something, to check the car in which we are going to be storing the products that we are going to be buying, but I want to load them from the database not from the database, but from a validation that I have here. Why? Because there are options that only the user, that is the administrator, can do, right? Remember, I told you at the beginning of this tutorial that I'm going to be using the same application for the administrator and for the client. So in this case, I'm going to be loading the options, and I'm going to be filter them depending on the user that is logged in. So I need another collection right here. I need to change the rules of this database. I'm not going to be showing you here how to do that because Apphive doesn't have yet an editor to change the rules, but it should. So for now, let's add another collection, and this collection is going to be called admin users by ID. Okay, there you go. It will have the admin users, and here I'm going to be putting the ID of the user. Sorry, inside of this one, I'm going to be having an array with the IDs of the users, right? So what do I need to do? When I enter this application, after loading the basic information, I'm going to be checking the database to see if this particular user is an admin or not. In order to do that, let's add a get database data. There you go. Let's check here, admin users by ID. Let's put here the ID of this user in particular, and let's print the information that is thrown right, that is returned right here, right? Let's change the name of this get database data to something a little bit more mnemonic. In this case, user is admin, okay? Is admin. There you go. After that, we are going to be calling every time the end callback, which is called regardless of if the user has information or doesn't. And let's add here a code compute. This code compute will allow us to check if the user has information in the user is admin collection. And if the user doesn't have any information, we are going to be filtering the appropriate options depending on the user, right? So let's add here a new argument. I'm going to be calling this one is admin, and here I'm going to be putting the information that is returned from the database, right? Here I'm going to access that information in the code by calling the value that is called its admin from the args variable, right? And I'm going to be returning only the is admin part, right? After that, I'm going to be adding a debug log to make sure everything is working correctly until now. And I'm going to be referencing the value that is returned from the code compute function. Let's go to our previewer and let's restart the application. There is our log. There is our home page. And let's go back here to the logs part. And here, let's check. And here we have indeed the undefined value, right? So inside of here, let's define the options that the user can pick in the application. Let's put this in full screen, and let's return here an array that has all my options. And the first option is going to have a key. Sorry, no, the key is not needed. It's going to have a name. This property is going to be called hello for now, so we can debug the function. And let's add here another property, and this property is going to be called only admin, only admins, and this is going to be a boolean that indicates us if the property, or in this case the option, should show only if the user is admin, right? False. And let's add another one to check this one, and this one is going to be true, and the name is going to be hello too, right? And we are not going to return the complete array. We are going to filter first. Filter. And here, let's destructure the property which is called only admins. And let's check that out. If is admin, just return true, because the admin users can see all the options. And if not, let's return the property only if it doesn't has to be an admin to show it, right? So let's print the information that is returned from here by restarting the application. Oh, before that, let's clear the console so we can be sure the information is only what we want. If I go back here and click on it, you can see the options that are shown are only name, hello. Why? Because that option is only shown to users. Sorry, the option hello to is not shown because it's only shown to admins, right? So let's add some real options, right? Purchase gear. And this one is create product, which is going to be only shown to admins. In fact, instead of putting here create product, let's put products catalog, which is going to be the section of the application in which we are going to be able to create products, right? So let's restart this one. There you go, it's loading. There is my user, and and here it creates an array in this create, and this creates an array with only one option, which is called purchase gear, right? The reason it's working like that is because we have the purchase gear property, and now the next step is creating a list in which we are going to be having the buttons that show me the information on each option, right? I'm going to be doing that in the next tutorial. I hope this tutorial was helpful to you. I'm not going to be answering any question that you put in my in the link to register if you see this in your email fee. So I'm going to continue doing the application without answering your question, and I'm going to be having a live stream at the end in which I'm going to be answering the questions that you have specifically with this application. So I hope you are going to be tuning in for the next one, and I see you later. Have a great one.